Hey guys, on this video I'm going to be using regular acrylic powder to do a French dip nail. The first thing I'm going to do is just buff the nail. When it's your own nails, you do want to push back the cuticle, prep the whole nail plate before you start doing this process. And then I'm going to go in with some alcohol and just cleanse the nail, dehydrate it as well. I'm going to use Modelones base and activator. Any glue will do, any brush on glue will do. This one works really well. Any slower drying glue would be best, especially if you're doing your own nails. And the great thing about doing your own nails is that you can do one layer on each finger at a time, so by the time you get back to the finger you started with, it's already completely dry, so it works a lot better and you can work faster. So the first thing is you do want to shape out the style you want to do. You can do a very V-cut French, you can do more round, or you can do in like almost an almond type of shape like I am doing. I'm thinking of just like shaping out the top of an almond, a little bit less sharp, but you can do it a lot more sharp so it has a nice crisp line in the middle. It's really up to you. This is just the shape I personally like myself. I know there's people out there that like a straighter French nail. So then you will do that with glue, work a little bit fast, and then you will apply the powder right on top as soon as you're done. And you will do this anywhere from 3 to 4 times. It really depends on how much it needs. And the glue is still a little wet, so you want to keep adding the powder until you see that it doesn't get grabbed on by the glue. So after you do that, you want to wait a little bit, brush off the dust because you don't want the brush to damage the glue if it's still wet, and then you will go on with the second layer. And it's the same thing over and over for all 4 layers that I use for this pink. The hardest part, I think, is just shaping it out at first, knowing what shape you want. And don't worry if you don't always get it on the same shape. You're going to go in with the file and file exactly the shape you want to a really nice clean curve or line. So this is what I do, and you will see I just keep adding the powder because some of the glue is still not fully dry, so it's still going to be holding onto that powder. And just tap off the excess powder, let it sit for a few seconds, and then you can brush it off anything left over, and then you will go in and do the same thing over. I like to work in thinner layers. I don't like to just throw a whole bunch of glue on the nail. I find it easier and longer lasting to work in thin layers. Now here, this is just cosmetic. I am not trying to build a nail or an apex. I'm not trying to build the strength of a nail to last, especially for this length. If you're going to do this on your nails and you're going to apply a nail tip on, please make sure to watch my videos on how to apply dip nails with the structure, with an apex on your nails. And I will link that down below, where I use regular acrylic powder to build my nails, because I recommend to do clear layers first to build your nail and your apex, and then go in and do this method. This one is just literally like if you're using polish on top. It's just for the look of it. It doesn't hold any structure. It will not last. It will probably pop off soon, unless your nails are really, really short and you just want to do a straight French or a really simple French manicure that has a little bit of a curve. Then it's totally fine to go in with just one clear layer of clear acrylic and then go in with the pink and white. But I highly recommend to build a structure if you're trying to have anywhere near this length or even a little bit less, or else they will pop off. As soon as I'm done, you did see that I did clean up the line, and I also clean off any excess pink powder on top of the nail because I wanted it to be nice and even. Now I'm going to go in with the glue. Here you just want to make sure you get all those crevices, all the inside of that curve, because if you do miss anything, you will have gaps after you apply layers, and then you'll just mess up the strength of it, even though you're not really building for strength, but you'll mess up the base of it, and you really don't want that. You want it to be fully intact next to the pink, all the way up to the 4th level that you will apply of the powder. I hope that makes sense. To me it does. So then I go in with the powder and I let that fully dry before I brush off any of the powder off. And you will notice on both the pink and the white, whenever I apply powder after the second layer, I go in with an activator. That is because if you pile and pile layers of dip powder onto the nail, without putting activator in between sometimes, you will get a very gummy nail, a very soft nail. So when it's this long, I know for a fact I'm using a lot of powder and a lot of glue, so I want to make sure that it is a very hard, strong nail. So even though I work with thin layers of glue, I will still put in my activator for this type of length, or even half of this length. I will go in every 2 to 3 layers and put activator in between, even when I'm building my nail with clear acrylic, because you will have a gummy nail in between. In the middle of the nail, it will be soft and gummy, and that's why when you're taking a bath or a shower, or you hit it on the wall or something, they bend and feel kind of gummy when you're using dip. That is the main reason why. So after each layer, like I said, this is 2 layers, so I want to make sure that oh no, this is the 3rd layer, I think it was. And I also put activator. It's just habit for me to put it all the time. It doesn't affect me in any way to just secure the nail and put activator. And I do 4 layers of the white and 4 layers of the pink. Now after the 3rd layer, it looked like it was perfectly fine, but the sides and in the middle as well, in the center of the nail, there was a little gap. So I wanted to fully seal that, and it's okay if the white goes over the pink, because you're gonna file that off, and once that evens out, the pink curve that you already previously made will come out really nice and clean. The smile line will come out super clean, so I'll remove all that excess white that went over it. So do not worry about that. Don't stress about it getting perfect. You just want to make sure that you fully have the white over the pink, so that the smile line comes out perfectly clean. And this is the last 4th layer, and you see in the nail sometimes it comes out bumpy. Don't just dab a little bit of glue on the bumps, because it will just make it worse. It's better to just evenly put the layers of the glue, so that when you apply the powder grabs on to everywhere where the glue is at, and it just makes it easier and a little bit more even on the gaps. And you can always just file a little bit of that off. But if you start dabbing little bits of glue, you will get huge bumps and it'll come out super lumpy. So after that, I put enough activator. I make sure I overly put activator, let it sit and dry, and then I go in with my file, I reshape the nail, and then I clean off the white from the top. I want to make sure I get it super clean. You'll know when it's done when the smile line is crisp, when you see it really nice and clean. And then after I do this, I'm not that used to holding on to nail tips on these nail stands, and that's why you see my hands. And excuse my hands, my nails, they're a hot mess. I'm testing out different things, and you will know soon what's going on. And then I go in with my gel bottle top coat. It's one of my favorite top coats, and I fully top coat this. You can definitely use a regular top coat or whatever else you would like. You can even use polish, design, stamp, whatever you want, and then polish it. And that's it for this nail. I really hope you guys like this. This video was just made for those of you that are allergic to acrylic, can't use acrylic, don't like the smell of it, and just want to know if you can do French nails with acrylic powder, regular acrylic powder or dip acrylic powder. You definitely can. It does take a little bit more time, but it's not for everyone. But I did want to make it just so you guys can see that it's possible and it's doable for everyone, especially if you're not used to acrylic or don't like acrylic. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.